You are all set and ready to go.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Hartford Town Council Finance and Administration Committee meeting for Wednesday, February 4th at 6 p.m. My name is Deb Poland. I chair this committee. We also have with us this evening committee members, Councilors Ben Winograd and John Lyons, and we have Mayor Sherry Cantor and fellow Town Council members Tiffany McGinnis and Barry Walters. Our town manager, Rick Ledwith, our interim finance director, Patty Lewis, our director of leisure and social services, Helen Rubino Turco, and our town assessor, Joe Dakers. And of course, we have Jerida Reinheimer with us as well, helping us on the tech end of things. So thanks to everyone for joining us this evening. The first item of business is approval of the minutes of the January 5th, 2026 meeting. Could I have a motion from one of the committee members?
So moved.
Thank you, Councilor Winograd. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Lyons. Any discussion? If not, all okay with approving the minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, great. Next, we have the next item of business is to be the 2025 Grand List Report. And I will start by turning this over to our town manager, Rick Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. And we're very pleased to introduce the 2025 Grand List Report, which reflects an increase of $598,135 $598,135, or a 1.12% increase over last year. Just an outstanding year, one of our larger increases in well over 10 years at this point. And this growth is truly an indicator of the continued investment and confidence in our community by residents and businesses alike. I want to take a moment to thank our assessment staff led by Joe Dakers and his entire team for their tremendous work that they do throughout the year, tracking and valuing real property, personal property, and motor vehicles is, as we know, a complex and also a year-round effort. And this report reflects their professionalism, accuracy, and commitment to fairness. And through you, Madam Chair, I will turn things over to our assessor, Joe Dakers, to share a little bit more of context around these numbers. And again, a very strong year for us overall. So thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, council persons. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the 2025 Grand List. It has been a very good year for the town, and we're happy that all of the effort that has gone into this, coming from other divisions within the municipal agencies, planning and zoning, the building department, and so forth. And in effect, we essentially take a picture of all of that activity, and we put values on it. The real estate Grand List by itself has grown by $45.6 million, about a 0.7% increase over last year. And the motor vehicle list is up $26.2 million, a 4.4% increase, and personal property, $9.7 million. We continue to see ongoing commercial development remaining a major contributor, with several large multifamily projects nearing completion. Also, residential renovation activity continues to add measurable value, reflecting strong homeowner investment. We have a number of new residential properties in town, and I'm just going to highlight just a couple of them. There are more than this. We have 1272 Chalkbrook Drive. We have 2674 Albany Avenue. These are new homes. We have 8 Lilac Terrace that has been declared. We have 89 North Main Street and 9 Old Farm Drive, and lastly, 11 Gled Hill Lane. So these are some of the residential projects that have contributed to the 2025 grand list. Motor vehicles, well, I would be remiss actually if I didn't mention some of the commercial developments that have considerable contribution to this year's list. The byline at 920 Farmington Avenue with its 48 apartments was big for this year's list. 950 Chalkbrook Drive, that's the future development of 172 units. Once that lot was split, we were able to put some land values on that parcel based upon the number of units that are going to be built on that site. So that was several $1 million that contributed to the 25 grand this year. I take it back. That's the apartments here in the West Hartford Center. I misspoke. In terms of the lot split, pertains to 1360 Chalkbrook Drive with its site improvements. So those are major contributors to this grand list year. The other category is motor vehicles. As you know, there were some major changes with the motor vehicle valuation process during the 24 grand list year. This year, we're getting back to some level of normalcy after the advent of that new methodology of using the MSRP as a starting point, utilizing codified depreciation schedules in the state statute. We have 482 additional registered vehicles this year, and the higher values of newly registered vehicles really eclipse the older vehicles that were on the list that received appreciation from the 24 grand list year. We threw the supplemental information in there just for your benefit, but it's really not a part of the 2025 grand list. It is a supplement to the 24 grand list year. We thought you should be aware of that because that's a total of $91 million in assessed value that we build on this January of 2026. Personal property is very surprising for us this year in a couple of ways. Personal property is up $9.7 million or 3.9%. It has a total contribution to the grand list of $259.3 million. This has continued to invest in new equipment with acquisitions outpacing depreciation. We have an in-house audit program that we started about 5 years ago at the time when I think Ron Van Winkle was here. And our ratio of personal property values relative to our total grand list, when we compared it to similar communities around the state, was way low. And 4% was about where we should be at, which is where we are at now as a result of our annual personal property audits. Some of them are formal audits that we do, and some of them are just desk audits that are done in-house. As a result of those, we find that our compliance ratio now has increased significantly. We're now at about 80.9% of the annual declaration filings. Failure to file and that results in discovery of omitted assets subjects you to estimated assessments and assessment penalties, and nobody wants to pay any more than they really have to. So, and that really goes to strengthening assessment accuracy because it's a fairness issue, and I think that's working out well for the town. The 2025 grand list lastly reflects stable economic activity, continued commercial investment, strong residential reinvestment, and healthy business capital spending. Growth remains well distributed across categories, supporting a reliable and predictable tax base for the town of West Hartford. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to ask.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Dakers. And in case my fellow council members haven't had a chance to review, the report that is linked through our agenda is quite comprehensive and open to the public for people to view as well. So some light reading for everybody. Do any committee members have questions? Mr. Winograd?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On just one question. The gross exemptions for elderly and veterans, that chart, it's on page actually 1 of 11, but that doesn't make sense. I guess so. If you could just explain exactly what that means, because it's
Sure, I'll be happy to.
Thank you. I know we have exemptions, obviously, for tax benefit, but kind of where that comes from and.
All right, so that's at the page, the top of page 6. Is that what you're
Right.
referencing?
There's 2 charts. The first is net taxable grand list, the summary, and then below that says grand list summary of gross exemptions and net taxable.
Yes, yes. So for real estate, that's a gross grand list comparison of exemptions. That's everything. That's everything. That's tax exempt. And if you, where is that at here?
So that including churches and other nonprofits in addition to the elderly and veterans.
Yeah, that would be all of your nonprofits. That would be all of any solar exemptions. We're talking real estate or personal property?
We're focusing on the real estate, but
Okay, so yeah, that would be all of your nonprofits and churches and things of that nature.
okay, thank you. I know we have programs for elderly and veterans. And we get asked about that frequently. Just wondering if that was reflected specifically, but I can get that from you later as to what those numbers are.
I can certainly provide you, Deputy Mayor, a separate report that highlights the elderly benefit programs that we administer here in the town. A lot of them are local options, so you won't see them on this report here. But I could generate that and I can have that for you tomorrow. That's not a problem. Let me just ratchet back just for a minute on your question on real estate. So that 14 point, this is the 20th, yeah. So that $14 million is really all non-reimbursed exemptions. So those are non-reimbursable exemptions that you're dealing with. So that could be our veterans exemptions. That could be some Social Security exemptions, blind exemptions, all these types of things.
And just
Right.
for clarification, sorry, I'm going to jump in for a second. For clarity, we're talking about the table on the top of page 6 in the report, correct?
Yes. Well, yeah, well, actually, just below that where it says elderly, where it says grand list comparison of exemptions, I believe.
Gotcha.
And that's a $16 million number.
Gotcha. Thank you. Mr. Winograd, do you have any follow-ups on that?
Nothing else. Thank you.
If I may just take one more moment of your time, I want to introduce Pat on the slide over here. I can't do all this stuff by myself, so I don't want to pretend that I do it all by myself. Pat Sullivan is my right hand, and he is an extreme help to me as we navigate through all of these challenges that we deal with in all of the different property classes, whether it's motor vehicles, business, personal property, or real estate. Pat is our in-house commercial real property appraiser. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to see you again, Mr. Sullivan, and thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Nice to see you too.
Any other counselors have questions about this report? Okay, thank you very much. And just for the public's knowledge, we utilize this grand list report as a beginning step in our budget process and setting the mill rate, which is what your taxes are based on this grand list. So that's part of the reason why we take some time to thoroughly understand where the numbers are coming from and what the grand list looks like for our town. So thank you so much for all of your thorough work and thorough reporting as well. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right, we are going to move on to item 2C. This is a resolution approving a full-time position for community development block grant programs, and I'll turn it over to our town manager, Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In this resolution, we did discuss this briefly at our last Human and Community Services meeting. It involves the reclassifying of part-time positions into a full-time position where one part-timer would be promoted up into a full-time position, supporting both the Community Development Block Grant Program, which includes our food bank, which was driving a significant need for this position. If you recall, Liz Bazinski joined us at that meeting. This evening, tonight, we have our director, Helen Rubino-Turco, who can provide a little more context around that need as well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And welcome, Mr. Rubino-Turco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the last couple of years, we've been reviewing as we prepared for our 5-year consolidated plan. We spent last year writing this plan. We really were examining the success and efficiencies of many of our programs. We get in the Community Development Block Grant funding, we get a little less than $1 million. And we focus on programs for low and moderate income people, and also investments in improvements in low and moderate income areas of town, so blocks, as it were. And we also focus on ADA improvements, which is eligible use of CDBG funds. And we invest these, a major component of our funding is allocated to our housing rehabilitation program. It is run by Luan Sika, who is full-time, and a part-timer also assists him. But this program has really expanded over the last few years under his leadership. And I think 2 years ago, maybe we had 11 projects that were going on in the housing rehabilitation area, and we're double that now. So there's a lot of work going on to help low and moderate income homeowners stay in their homes and make investments in our community. So as we were going through this examination of our successes and our efficiencies, we also had some loss of personnel. We had some people leave, whether they were retiring or they left for other reasons. And roles began to change. And we also saw, as I just mentioned, an increase in work in the housing rehabilitation program, but also particularly in this last year, we saw a real increase in the food pantry operations. And those two programs remain sort of the bedrock of what we do. We are reducing the amount of programming that we're doing at the Hillcrest Area Neighborhood Outreach Center. It continues to be a homework center that is run by the Board of Education, but our programs, the programs that we were doing there weren't very well attended, and we were really also seeing a need all over town for programming, not just in one small neighborhood. And so with those changes, we have suggesting reallocating some of our part-time staff. We have this in our budget and allocate it towards a full-time person. And so this would help with continuity, but also would help us with being able to just have boots on the ground to assist with the programming, but also with the administration and the planning in the housing rehab area. So there's actually no impact to the general fund. This is already in our budget. We're just shifting it from part-time to full-time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Are there any questions? And I do want to just say again, thank you. I know that you presented this on a different committee already, and we're happy to hear it through this lens. Any questions from committee members?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Councillor Lyons, go ahead.
thank you. Through you, so just looking at the salary range and all of that, if I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse, Ms. Turco, let me know. But in terms of skill sets and training required for this position, is that something that is written after council approves, or is that something you can discuss now? Oh, you're muted.
Ms. Turco, you're muted.
Sorry, the job description has been established. It has, we discussed it last year. Actually, we started working on this a year ago at this time. And it has been reviewed by Human Resources and the union. So it has been approved. This is a position that is very much a support position. So it is doing administrative work in the housing rehab area, and also doing the actual some of the work in the food pantry. So the food pantry operations are a mixture of ordering food and inventorying what we have and what we need, as well as managing donations that come in, as well as managing all of the volunteers. So we do have 2 part-timers that are doing that right now, but it really is a lot more than the work is a lot more than 2 part-timers. And in the housing rehab area, as I said, we have 1 person that's working full-time, but we have a really excellent candidate in one of our part-timers who's bilingual and has also been helping out and is enjoying and eager to expand his reach.
Fantastic. Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Sounds like a great program.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, if not, I think this committee feels comfortable moving this forward, and I believe this will go on the town council agenda for Tuesday.
It will, yes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We will, so Helen, don't go anywhere. We are going to move to item 2D, the resolution revising the schedule of fees for Cornerstone Aquatic Center. And I will turn it over to Mr. Ledwith, but I suspect he's going to turn it back over to you.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Madam Chair. And this is every so often, every year or so, as our expenses rise, notably on particularly with this program, our minimum wage increases tied to these programs, we will look to modestly adjust fees for services at our facilities. And this is a time when we'd be asking for a modest increase in our various fee levels at Cornerstone Aquatic Center. And through you, Madam Chair, I'll turn it over to Helen again to provide a little background on that needed increase. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Yes, as Rick just mentioned, we review our the fees that we charge at a variety of facilities every year. And at Cornerstone Aquatic Center, we have not changed our fees since 2024. So in September of 2024, and since then, minimum wage has increased 8%. The contract with the company that runs it also goes up annually by 3%. So I want to back up a minute and just explain a little bit more about how Cornerstone Aquatic Center works and how it's integrated into our budget. It is in the enterprise fund or the leisure services fund. So it's in a fund where we charge fees to cover expenses. And other programs that are in this fund include our golf courses, our indoor skating rink, and a lot of the summer camps that we operate. So those are just some of the programs that are in the enterprise fund. Cornerstone Aquatic Center hasn't had a rate increase in 18 months. The proposed increase is $1 per month for individuals and family members, but we are not increasing, there's no suggested increase for seniors. So this is just for individuals and and families. The increase is quite modest. Right now, an individual resident pays $44 a month, and it would go to $45. So that's a 2.3% increase. And for a family, it goes from 56 to 57, and that is a 1.8% increase. And you might wonder, like how many people does this really affect? So Cornerstone actually has more than 5,800 members. We really look at them, though, in member units because some are in families and some are individuals. So it's about 2,060 member units. So when we're talking about individuals, there's 318 of them in this current fiscal year. Seniors are lower, 273. But family membership is the biggest category. So a lot of families will register, and we have over 1,000 families that are registered in our as members at Cornerstone. What we also do before we introduce any kind of rate increases, we look at what our peer communities are doing, or competition, if you will, and we feel very comfortable that we're well placed to retain and grow our membership even with this rate increase. We're also suggesting increases in the rental that we charge for the whole facility or for certain lanes. So, for example, we rent to several schools. They might be renovating their school pool, and so they need a place to swim for a year. Sometimes it is like, so Avon High School, for example, or Kingswood Oxford, they rent lanes or the entire pool from time to time for their either for their practices or for competition. And we also have several local clubs that rent lanes. So this would also generate some additional revenue. We think that the membership increase would generate approximately $25,000, and the additional rentals, or lane rentals, would be about $6,500. So altogether, about $31,000 in increased revenue. I just wanted to note that our West Hartford high schools practice for free and swim for free at Cornerstone. So it's kind of a catch-22 because we're supposed to be operating like a business, but we offer prime time to our high schools. 2 different seasons, in the winter, the fall season, and in the winter season. But it's well worth it. We do have a wonderful diving club. We have a Waves Swim, a youth program that used to be a private club, and now it's part of the Cornerstone operations. So we're very pleased with how they're doing, but they struggle to break even, and this will help bring this facility into the zone that we feel comfortable. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. First, go to committee members. Questions? Mr. Lyons?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Ms. Turco. It's interesting because on the surface, when you look at how much things have increased, how much the price of things have increased in recent years, I ask myself, and I ask the question, I guess maybe rhetorically as much as directly to you, is the increase enough? But the second piece of it, which I struggle with, is I imagine there's probably a lot of folks who even the $56 or the $44 a month is probably a little bit of a stretch. I mean, I don't know if you have any data on that. I don't want to put you on the spot, but just if you know any data, if you know anything, I'd be curious to hear it.
Ms. Turco?
Well, we do look at what similar facilities in other towns or even within the town, and we are well below what they are charging for adults or for families. And so we feel very comfortable in our spot. There's also that bubble where you want to charge enough, but you don't want to charge too much that you lose membership. So I think that's why this is a very cautious but significant step for us to take. And I think by protecting our seniors, that is also very important. They pay $37 a month, and that is not changing. Whether it's for a resident couple at 44, that's not changing. So I think it is a heavily used facility. It is used all day long. It's busy no matter what time of day you go there. And I think people find just their right spot and they go in and they do their lane. And the management there does a great job enticing people to participate in competitions, like how long does it take you to swim the English Channel, and how many days, how many, and though people say, oh, well, I'm 3/4 of the way, or I've done this many miles or whatever. I mean, it's just, they do creative things there, and they also bring in, as I said, new membership. I think there's a lot of students at UConn medical school that come, and they're there for a few years and then they move on. But I think it is a very a positive place to be. It is a place that requires significant investment over the next few years because it is an aging facility. It was built in 1961 and then it was renovated in 1991. So it has been a while. So we're also acutely aware of that. We don't want to overcharge when we know that there's work that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's through you, Madam Chair. More of a comment than a question. It just sounds like it's. I mean, we've participated there. Our kids were members years ago when they were young, and it certainly is a beautiful gem in our community. And thank you for doing all you do with it. So thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Other questions from councilors on the call with us? Just a comment then for me, which is I do appreciate the difficult balance that we're trying to achieve of trying to bring in a little bit of additional money to cover the fact that our costs have gone up to maintain this facility due to staffing and materials costs, but also trying to keep the burden not too high for our residents. And I know that when we did raise fees a couple of years ago, we heard from a number of older adult residents in our community who were upset over the fact that they were, also having to pay that extra fee. So people should know that we've listened and changed things for this time around. So this will also go on the town council agenda for Tuesday. And if approved, rates would be increased as of March 1st, correct? All righty. So I think we're good with this item as well. Thank you very much. Mr. Manager, are there any communications?
There are not this evening, Madam Chair.
All right, then we will move on to staff reports. And the item is the current year operating budget projection as of December 31, 2025. And I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Manager. And I'm sure you're going to welcome Ms. Lewis to make a presentation.
I am, yes. So thank you very much. We are at the halfway mark for this report anyways. We're actually a month past that at this point, but Patty Lewis had uploaded our projected fiscal year operating results as of December 31st, 2025, which shows at this point, $114,542 surplus, which is typically where we are at this point each and every year. So, from our perspective, that's good news. We do expect to see that grow as we move through the fiscal year and as we move up to June 30th. So just at a very high level, I'll hit a couple of points. Our revenues are anticipated to increase by about $1.5 million over what we had budgeted. And the largest variance in that 1.5 million is there are two really larger categories. One is good news. Our municipal revenue sharing grant is coming in at $412,000. We, as you may recall, this has been a grant that's been hit or miss the last few years. We didn't receive one last year. I think Patty can correct me, but I think the last 2 years we haven't received municipal revenue sharing grant. So It's good to see that coming back to us. So we didn't budget for that this year, and we're coming in at $412,000. Also, we budget, as you know, a collection rate for property taxes at 99.1%. We're coming in a little bit lower than, a little higher than that again. So anticipating about a $744,000 increase above budget for our property tax collections. On the expense side, we are projecting expenses to be approximately $1.4 million over what we had budgeted. The most significant drivers in that category are really in three different areas. We have overtime related to our police department, which is coming in at about 1.1 million over budget. So we have 6 openings right now in our police department. So that always ends up driving up overtime. We also have 6 new officers who we've hired who are not yet taking that. They're still in that first 9-month period where they're being trained, so not quite taking the spot of an officer. So we're still filling some of that with overtime as well, which is contributing to that $1.1 million. Fire department, we have 3 openings, 3 recent openings. So the increase in overtime for our fire department's a little bit lower at $200,000. And then our public works overtime has been hit. As you know, we've had a significant number of snow events this year. And if you think about when they've all occurred, they've all been pretty much on a weekend or a holiday. So we've had some double time expenses attributing to that as well. So about $108,000 over budget. That doesn't include the most recent storms. So we'll see that number increase a little bit as well as we move through the year. So that's a very high level. I know there were a lot of ins and outs to this, and Patty and her team did a great job of putting this report together and understand this at a very deep level. So I just wanted to touch on the high level stuff, and through you, Madam Chair, we can pause there and turn it over to the committee, and we can dive a little bit deeper into any of these numbers that you would like.
Great, thank you very much. Questions from committee members? I know we're all absorbing this.
Yeah,
It's good news. It'll get back. As I said, it'll grow as we move through the year. It's pretty much where we thought we would be. But do look, as we do move through the year, Patty and her team will keep me abreast of where the inflows and outflows are going, and we'll manage to keep this where it should be as we finish up the fiscal year. So overall, good news. On top of Joe's good news.
Great. Councilor Wenderred, it looked like you might have a question.
No, I'm just gonna thank you, Madam Deputy. Just pointing out what you've been pointing out, which is getting this close. That closeness is so amazing predicting. Variance of 100,000 in a $370 million budget is dead on. So I couldn't get any closer than that. So, but yeah, certainly not unanticipated with the plows, and we're all grateful for that. So thank you to you and your team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I think this is incredibly important information as we are about to head into budget season for the next fiscal year. So good to see where things are tracking, and also appreciate some of the extra details that are in here. For example, about that police officers can't work the overtime right away. So even though they're hired, it's there's still a little bit of a gap. So thank you very much. I'm sure we may come up with additional questions over the next few days, and we know how to reach you. Appreciate it.
Thank you to
All right.
Patty and her team.
Thank you very much. We are going to go to future agenda items. Anybody have any requests for that? And if not, we do have an executive session So the executive session is without objection. I move that we enter executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy and negotiations with respect to the following pending tax appeal: McAuley Center Incorporated versus Town of West Hartford. Is there any objection?
No, ma'am.
There being no objection, the motion passes. I invite the town manager, the tax assessor, and deputy corporation counsel to join us in executive session. So I'm going to ask all of the council members who were on the call. Oh, and any council members, committee members, and other council members would like to join us in executive session as well. So jump off this WebEx and we'll hop on to the other WebEx, and I'll see you all over on the other side. Dang it, Ben.
Gotcha.
You guys are fast.
I'm gonna start leaving like 4 minutes early.
I know you guys see.
Where'd Rick go? Oh, there he is.
He's here.
No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set up 2 laptops.
That's right.
The way. All right, we'll give Barry another minute. And Gina, is Gina going to join us, do you think?
Probably not.
Okay, no worries.
Tiffany, Gerida can be the judge, and if somebody joins early, they get docked a point. So
Yeah, we need to keep it like,
keep it honest.
well, no, like keep keep track of it. And then there's a winner declared.
The end of each council cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, Gerida, we are ready to go back live.
Madam Chair, you are all set.
Thank you very much. And we are returning from executive session at 6:58 p.m. And I move to ratify the settlement of the pending tax appeal, McAuley Center Incorporated versus Town of West Hartford, as to the 2021 to 2025 grand lists. The fair market value of the land and buildings located at 253 Steele Road is $20 million even. Looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Winograd. Is there any discussion? Just a big thank you to our team over in the assessor's office and corporation counsel's office for taking care of this on behalf of the town. And I will go for a voice vote from the committee members only. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, so that's 3 and this passes. Thank you very much. And without further ado, we will go ahead and adjourn this meeting, 6:59 p.m. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great rest of the night.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.